We're ready. Can you hear me?
I can hear you well.
Okay.
I can hear you well. All right. So, Jefferson County Public School, social emotional learning / trauma informed care presents to you a trauma informed approach to building relationships through the pandemic. And I want to insert a comma: through the pandemic, through the hardships, through the loneliness, through the hard times, even through the wonderful time, the joys of life. So we are going to assist you, educators, and remind you of the why you became educators, right? Yes. And help us through this. Only thing we have is a screen. We can't reach out and touch and hug our babies. So we have a screen, but we will get through this. And 1 minute at a time. It's no more 1 day at a time. It's 1 minute at a time.
Yes. And Lisa, do you mind turning on your closed captioning for those that may need it? Thank you.
Turn on your closed captioning. So you have 2/4, 1/2 of the social emotional learning team, myself, Christina Shea Johnson, and Miss Lisa. So Lisa's going to be doing, she's going to be presenting along with myself and handling the technology. Let's roll, Lisa.
Don't forget, Jen Driscoll is in the chat. So if people have questions, want things answered, she is there to respond to those.
Okay.
Shay, you look real fresh this afternoon. Looks like you got a break today.
Yeah, girl, I had to do it now.
All right. So Shay and I are going to talk to you this afternoon about gaining some knowledge by recognizing the benefits that students garner from relationships, routine, and resilience. So we're looking at all three of those things with our students and teachers, but we're going to really hone in and focus on relationships. Mm-hmm. We have lots of strategies. Shay and I are going to show you some things that we have found in our search for ways to better support teachers through NTI. So we're going to share those with you through the virtual learning experience, things that we know of, and then we're going to talk about ways to maintain those relationships across the screen when we can't do things like Shay said with hugging them or talking to them face to face, reading body language, those kinds of things.
Mm-hmm. All right, so the COVID pandemic, the loneliness of the times right now, the stressful times right now, and even the highs right now. We can't share those with our loved ones. We can't share those with our friends. The things that's going on just in Louisville, it has an increased loneliness, stress, anxiety, depression among many students and among staff, right? Among anyone that has JCPS attached with their names right now. This is who I'm talking to. We need to remind students, listen, I need you to be psychologically safe. I need you to be mentally safe. And I'm going to ride this ride right along with you. They need to feel it and they need to hear it. How are we going to do that? Through positive relationship building. Shay, how are we going to do that? You're already asking great questions. We're going to help. We're going to help you with that. We're going to help students grieve through the loss. We're going to help students with the uncertainties of today. And we're going to do that through relationships. Lisa?
Okay. So we would love if there were individuals who could chime in with us, but Shay and I will just have to run the conversation ourselves. Shay, tell me some ways when you were in the classroom or as you've been in schools that you support, that classroom connection was built prior to NTI.
Yeah, so when I was in the classroom, I always verbally told my students, I'm going to set the table right now. And setting the table, students, looks like this. Ms. Johnson is going to throw out a nice tablecloth of forgiveness. I'm going to say some things that you may not like, and you're going to say some things that I'm not going to be able to feel either. So right now we're going to say we will forgive in here. I'm going to do a spoon of kindness. I'm going to do a butter knife of lots of laughter. We're going to make it through today. And I can say that eye to eye, shoulder to shoulder with them, a high five, a nice hug. Can't do that anymore. I used to love having the lunch bunches because I got to sit right across from them and we got to spend moments together over food, just a simple meal, and it brought us closer and we got to share some personal connections and some memories that we had before before NCI. And then COVID hit. Lisa?
So I was thinking about something different that I did. I was in middle school. So those of you who are watching are middle or high school, you know, you switch kids every 50, 55 minutes or whatever. So one way that I built classroom connection was to step outside of my own comfort zone and to let kids kind of let me know what they needed. I wasn't a big toucher, not a big hugger. And this one student keeps coming to mind where she would come and stand next to me while I taught. She just needed some physical connection with me.
Yeah.
And that was very uncomfortable for me, but I knew that's what she needed. So it was more important to me that she have that than for me to be my own comfort. So allowing students to guide that conversation rather than me saying, this is how it has to be. That would be necessary to actually touch people, to be in person.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to go on to some of the concerns, not necessarily something that I had thought about, but a teacher was talking the other day about missing out on those nonverbals from our students, that body language, or them not being able to let us know about some of the trauma they may have going on in their home because they are still in their home. So finding ways to be able to allow students to communicate that with teachers while being in the presence of the people who may be causing the trauma or abuse. Yeah. What other concerns do you have or know about?
Yeah, so I guess you're asking the chat room, but I was also thinking about how every last student in our district has a unique experience and/or I'm going to say they have a unique experience that they're bringing back to us. We stopped at March 13th seeing our babies face to face. So their life did not stop there. Things happen, and every last one of them, they're carrying that, and what we call in the SEL world, they're carrying that invisible backpack with them. And so when we meet back up with our students behind these Chromebooks and behind the laptops, you're not going to be able to see their invisible backpack. You're not going to be able to see all the lows that they're dealing with. And you said in their homes, and I'm thinking, well, some of our students are now homeless because a lot of our parents, our caregivers, they lost their jobs, right? And so they're dealing with, oh boy, school's about to start and mom ain't got no money. Now we're in a homeless shelter. So what do? How can you still maintain that positive relationship with your teacher, with your educator, and you have that low going on in your life? So now more than ever, Lisa, I would like to say we have to lead with compassion and empathy. Those two things. Yeah.
Something else I was just thinking about too, those brand new kids. Can you imagine being the parent of a kindergartner?
Yeah.
Or a sixth grader or a ninth grader going to a new school and, how those connections are going to be built. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No. I was just saying we must lead with or teach with or start our day with compassion and empathy, a combination of both, because once you trade with those students and once you trade shoes with those parents, then the day seems a little bit different. It seems a little bit different.
Such a great comment too, Shay. So that people ask, what can we do about that now, Lisa and Shay? So here we go. Let's talk about what we can do. Mm-hmm. So the first thing that we have to own is what Shay said, but understand positive relationships have to come first. I feel like that was a lot of what Dr. Polio said today in the kickoff, that you have to make sure that is a focus, that we get it, that content matters. Mm-hmm. But now more than ever, because we can't be in the physical space, we have got to build those positive relationships, make those connections.
Right. And also, if I can interject right there, right at the beginning of your day, if you're meeting with the students, right at the beginning, just setting that tone, setting that positive tone, because I'll hold up my cup again. I did it earlier. This is my big coffee mug, right? Or tea this afternoon. But students are waking up every single day with nothing in it. Matter of fact, there's nothing but dust in it. Dust is brown and nasty and dirty, nothing but dust in it. And it's our job, if we can we just fill it 1/4, just 1/4. And that 1/4 could be a good morning. I am so glad you logged in today. Just a little bit. That's a teaspoon of it, right? If we can start our day with, I need you to fill out this Google form and tell me how you're feeling today. Nobody has to know. It's just between you and I. And so, like I said, leading with that compassion, because we don't know what's in their cup. Chances are, at the start of NTI, chances are their cups are very, very low. Or at least.
Okay. The other thing I just want to point out with understanding that relationship and routine should guide the way is the second bullet, to remember to maintain an attitude of inclusivity. I feel like a lot of times we talk about making sure that all of our students at whatever level they're at are included. But let's also make sure that when we are talking about that inclusivity, that we are setting the tone or setting the virtual table to allow for conversations to happen. Because when these students come back next week, they're going to want to talk about what's been going on in our city, not just in our world, but what's happening in our city, and make sure that we are prepared for those conversations so that we are setting the tone, we're setting the expectations, and allowing children to process, allowing them to have the conversation saying, I believe this about what's going on. And the ones who don't agree with them and believe otherwise, make sure that respect stays there, but honor all of that. Be inclusive so that everybody feels safe sharing. You want to add something?
Well, absolutely. I was just thinking about, and I have to, pause and say, I got to get raw just a little bit. I went to a bunch of funerals, and I went through a bunch of wakes of people that were under the age of 21. And I'm saying that because those were our JCPS children, and there's more funerals and, visitations to come. And our students, they have a lot built up. And when I say a lot built up, I'm talking about anger, and I'm talking about resentment, and I'm talking about vengeance. And you have to know these students may not push power and log on with a smile on their face. May not happen because their world may not be popcorn and lollipops. It is what it is. A lot of these children, they're connected to our victims who met their demise. And so we have to come in very gentle, because like I said before, we don't know what's in their backpack, but we have to come in very gentle and be flexible in receiving what our students are going to give us in that present moment. You have to be empathetic, because like I said before, we don't know what's in their backpack, and they're waking up maybe with an empty cup, right? So they're dealing with a range of emotions, right? And like Polio said, we have to remember the whys. Why in the world did you come into this profession? And it wasn't just because you love addition, right? It wasn't just because you love talking about the Constitution. So our kids are coming in with these emotions, and as educators, we have to figure out how we're going to deal with these emotions behind a keyboard. I'm just looking at a little circle, and I know there's people behind the circle, and they have a range of emotions as well. So how do we deal with that? And that is through positive relationship building.
One other piece I want to add is being flexible. Shay mentioned that, but being flexible with our students and their situations at home, but also being flexible with ourselves. So when we planned out this presentation, Shay and I had a video we wanted to share with you, and then we did it this morning, and you can't hear the video. So for some, and I would tell you all this before this whole process, that would have really flustered me. We roll with it. We just got to keep going and understand, even if we were in front of a class full of students, and it was the first day of school. Hey, y'all, technology's messing up, so it's not working right. So being flexible with them as well as with yourself.
Yeah.
All right, Shay.
Yeah, here it is right here. Every child needs a champion, and then you can call it quits right here. What does that mean? It means we need you. We need you to be that positive adult that flips up that laptop, that puts on that beautiful face and say, I am your caring adult. I am here for you until the rest of the year, or even after that, right? Sometimes the one thing that your students need the most is what? Not in your lesson plan. If I don't like you, chances are I can feel it, number one, because listen, kids are very smart. and they can feel how you feel towards them, right? So if you need me to work for you, I need you to make sure that I'm seen. I need you to make sure that I am emotionally safe in your area, in your spot. When you flip up your keyboard, I need to make sure in the SEL world, we say our trauma exposed kids need to feel safe, competent, and worthy. Hello, in this digital world as well. Can you have a safe, competent, and worthy classroom going on during NTI? Absolutely. Absolutely. We're going to show you a couple of tools today. One thing, go back one time, Lisa.
Okay. One more?
Yeah, one more. Yeah. Yeah, Rita Pearson was going to be our guest today. We was going to play a little bit of her, and she was talking about how every child needs a champion. And she talked about a student getting all his problems wrong but 2. And on the paper, she put +2, but he still received an F. And he's like, Miss Pearson, what in the world? You put a smiley face. She said, baby, you on the road. You got 2 of them right. That is becoming a champion for our students. Whatever you can find, please, 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 on bended knees, make your students feel worthy enough to be in your classroom. Go ahead, Lisa.
Okay, so Shay mentioned some of the resources that we have for you. So we're going to show you some. When we're talking about having a high sense of belonging, that means that we're connected. We have positive relationships. We feel a sense of safety because it's okay for me to feel comfortable here. If I don't feel safe, I definitely don't feel comfortable. So holding class meetings, we talked about this earlier, and Shay, I went back and looked at the comments, and somebody said they do this for 15 minutes. I don't know if it was once a week or several days, but opening up a Google Meet, and the teacher kind of moderates, and maybe they're off grading papers or working on lesson plans, but lets the kids have the option to get together and discuss like they're at lunch or they're at recess, just to interact with each other. So maybe that's something that you do. We also have a resource there, but I'm not going to go through all of them. One of them I do want to show is this, where we could focus students on things that they are grateful for. There are many things that we have mentioned that are dark in our world right now. So trying to change the conversation to focus on things that are positive. So one of the things that we have is a Google form with example notes of gratitude. So you could put your own gratitude here, or if, I don't know why this is, there we go. Somebody wants to handwrite it or draw it and then take a picture and upload it. They can have the option of keeping it private or sharing with classmates. And there's a PowerPoint presentation. If anybody wanted that, I have the template for it. That's something else that you could share. You want to say something?
No. The gratitude, of course, is always my favorite. I think it would be amazing if teachers could start their virtual classes with the gratitude form. It's positive. It's kind of hard to be upset when you're talking about what you're grateful and thankful for. It would fill the cup a little bit, when you start the day.
Okay, this is the one. I was like, good. I'm hoping this is the right one. So this is one that Shay and I love. It's another one that is linked in the presentation. So it's a check-in or a temperature check. And Shay, I know you want to talk about it.
Okay, so it is linked in with our choice boards. We are providing you today with 2 choice boards. One's for the elementary level, K through 5. The other one is 6 through 12. Both of those have the temperature checks, and it looks a little something like this. Today, I am feeling, it does not have just happy, mad, sad, glad. What about I'm feeling really anxious or I'm really overwhelmed, right? So we are offering feelings to these students because it's time out for teaching those 4 feeling words. I'm feeling frustrated, right? I'm feeling really silly. I didn't get enough sleep for whatever reason, so I can check I'm feeling tired, right? Scroll down, Lisa. Now this is just
too, Shay, that we could, so maybe I'm happy, but I'm overwhelmed. We can check 2 of them if we want to.
You can check more than one. Yes, you can check more than one. And then if they want to, this is all optional. Give a detail. Why do you feel that way? Why are you so tired? Oh boy, that opens up the door right there for relationship. Well, what about, we're talking about how you're feeling, and let's tap in a little bit to your education, your digital learning. How is your digital learning going? We don't know unless we ask. And they can check the box on how they are doing digitally. Why? Because I can help you out. I can virtually pull you to the side and get you through this. This is what relationship building is all about. I got you. When you're in a relationship with somebody, you're on the same team, right? For the same common goal, right? And so I'm here to help you. I want to help you with your feelings, and I want to help you academically, but I can't do that unless you let me know how you're feeling. And this form is magic. I want some money to put on the billboards, right?
Hey, can you imagine how empowering this would be too? Like, I'm looking at the third one. It says, I have done a little, but I'm definitely falling behind.
Yeah.
To know that in private, I can say this to my teacher and nobody else has to know. Like, can you imagine if you're sitting in a class of 25 kids, nobody's going to say that out loud because it's embarrassing.
Thank you.
Being able to put it here. Make sure you talk about these next two. I want you to make
Oh, yeah, I'm getting to that. So today, I'm planning to do this. And this is just your school plans. This is just the school plans, the academic, right? Because it is school. But right after that, today I am planning to list something. It doesn't even have to be fun. List something that you're going to do that's not school related. They can leave it blank. Hey, if they leave it blank, what can you do? You can offer suggestions. That would start your relationship building. Right? And I want the following teachers or the following educators to check in with me. There's a whole list. There's your homeroom. There's your music. There's your math. There's your school counselor. There's a social worker. There's the nurse. I want this individual to check in with me. You're not telling the whole school. You're not telling the classroom. This is a virtual form that will benefit the student and the teacher. They're not even logging in saying, I'm feeling bored today. Right? Because we know there's other people in the house and they may not want to hear that. So we've created this Google form for our students to use.
Well, the other thing I want to add to that too, Shay, is can you imagine if you don't know and you need to talk to the counselor or the social worker, but I don't know how to get in contact with them.
Yeah.
How do I reach out to them? I don't remember their names, or maybe they're new. I'm new at a school. So this would be just phenomenal to say I can go to one person and get everything that I need. Okay. The other thing that we have is some other strategies with starting each session with a morning meeting. And then the other one I want to point out is the mindfulness activities. This is, our virtual calming corner. So this is a one-stop shop. And if you see it, you like it, you want to use it, I think you have to make it a copy so that it is available for you, but it's done. That you can take this, add it to your Google Classroom, and use it as an extra resource, as a part of way to start your class, however it works best for you. But they're here. So if I click on mindfulness exercises, it takes me to them. Shay, I know you want to add something else to it too, so go.
Go back, girl. You know, that keep calm and do nothing. First of all, this board is amazing. Right? It's created for you. Please take it. All right. But Lisa, I want you to click on that red push pin of keep calm and do nothing. All right. So when you tell your students about this, right? Because let me get raw again. When I went to these funerals, our babies was screaming and crying. They didn't know what to do with their feelings that were invited to their brains. They didn't know what to do with the anger. They didn't know what to do with the frustrations. They didn't know what to do with all these range of emotions coming to their brain, right? We can teach, stay calm and do absolutely nothing. And when you click on this, there's 2 minutes of calm, peaceful music. Now, listen, I got a 13-year-old and I got a 16-year-old. This ain't hip right now, but you have to teach it. You have to teach it. It's not country music. It's not R&B. It's not rap. It's just nice, soothing music. The aim is for the brain to receive calm. That's all. And so, like I said, you have to teach this maybe during one of your lessons, just doing absolutely nothing but maybe looking out into the ocean, onto the skyline, and listening to the beautiful music and teaching our babies there is a way to absolutely stop and do nothing. It's not going to work the first time. Probably not. Maybe even not the second time. But we're educators. We know that we have to try again. Want to go back to the board, Lisa? You got some other good stuff on there.
Yeah, but I was going to say too, that something else that, maybe it's set for 2 minutes. Maybe kids can't do that. Well, start at 10 seconds. You make it 10 seconds and then just keep adding on to it.
Yeah. I know our boss loves that on her phone, sometimes she just stops and she just colors as a way to relax. We click on that online coloring.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. And I know a lot of therapy sessions, they use this as well.
Well, and I was going to say, too, that if this was something like Go Noodle for the mindfulness exercises, if you feel like it's too young for your students and you have something else, find something else, use that. Like I said, you can make a copy of this and then use it as your own. But if you don't want to and you just want to take it and use it, it's there for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
So amazing.
Yeah. And don't forget, you always tie in the relationship part of it, because you can do it right along with them. See the teddy bear? Click on the picture to show ways to calm your brain. Our babies need that. There's a whole lot going on, and we can't even imagine what's going on with our students.
Well, and you think about that. We need this kind of stuff. Think about the visual relaxation. I used to do that sometimes when we were at work and you're in that office space, and sometimes you just need a 2-minute break. Like, okay, let me put it on while I'm reading a book.
Yeah.
Or whatever. Okay. So the other thing that we want to point out are our choice boards. So take it away, Shay. I know we already talked about.
Yeah, so this is the our social emotional K through 5, and then right after this one we have the 6 through 12. But you're welcome to either one of them. They're interactive, so all you have to do is some of them are interactive. I want to point out, I think it's the next one. So this is elementary. Go to the middle school one, because what's in now, guys, is TikTok. All your kids from K to 12, they know about it. So get with the plan. All right. It's in the third box, social awareness. This is write a letter. It's in the email, or create a TikTok. Why? To encourage someone. You can do it as just an encouragement one student, or encourage your whole entire classroom. Shay, I don't know how to do TikTok. You still asking good questions. Go to YouTube. Figure it out. Create a TikTok for your students. Hey, I can get hyped with y'all. This is what I want y'all to do for the school year. Put on your music and go with the flow. There's no mistakes you can make. Relationship building. Show your students that you're human too. Show your students that you got an invisible backpack too, and we are in this together. Please look through our choice boards. Take it from the K through 5. Take it from the 6 through 12. Have your students share it with their families, right? It's good for them. It's good for us. It's good for you.
Well, I was going to tell you this too, Shay, that I looked back at the comments this morning and people wanted to know where to get the choice boards. So they're in our presentation, which is linked in the schedule. But also, and I'm hoping that maybe Jen is hearing this, and maybe she'll put our link for our trauma-informed care Google site in the resources section. I went ahead and added choice boards for educators, for families, and then our K through 5 and then our 6 through 12. So all 4 of them are there as options and things to do. And the other thing that I was going to say when you were talking about TikTok, have the students make TikTok.
Yes, yeah.
Here's how to do it, teachers. I watched a family trying to show their dad how to do one. It was a really long video, but he finally got it at the end. So let's get the students involved with teaching the teacher.
Absolutely. Before our take-home message, Lisa, let me just talk to my family for a minute. I'm talking about my JCPS family. Mm-hmm. Times are really hard now. I get it. We've lost 2 students just this week. I get it. There's.
Can I tell you something too?
Yeah.
I just found out she's a retired teacher, but I can't remember what middle school she worked at. But just found out that she's got weeks to live, cancer.
Yeah. Yep. So I guarantee you, every school and every building associated with JCPS, there's someone going through a really, really, really tough time. And I want to say this: when we get online with our students, please come with an open mind. Please be flexible. And if you're not the type that says, I love you to your students and I'm here for you, come what may, find some words that will soften their heart. If it's just, I care for you, please contact me if you need anything. Find something to let our students know that you want to be a champion for them. Find words that lets our students know that you want to be, and you will be that one positive adult that they need in their life. You cannot believe the difference that we can make. Everyone that's listening can think of a teacher that made a difference, right, in your life. And so you can be that teacher. It's time for you to step up to the plate. You put out the application, and I know it wasn't because you wanted to teach civics. So please, before you log off for your students, when you talk to them, or even if you're just writing them an email, please at the beginning, in between, let them know that you care for them. And if you can use those 3 words that I love you as well. Okay. Thank you so much. Lisa, did you want to say anything else before we share our contact information?
Nope, I just put it up. So if anybody needs anything, make sure they reach out to us. It's time for us to go.
All right. Have a wonderful afternoon.
Lily, thank you all.
Bye-bye.
Thank you all. That was awesome.